If you've watched my previous video, you might have seen this device making a cameo. This is my Kobo Libra Color. This is another e-ink device that I have for quite a while, and I've been using this on and off. And today I just want to share and archive my experience with this device. What are the things that I've learned and things that it can do, and pros and cons. Let's get into it. This is basically an e-reader, and it's a better version compared to what I have before this one. One of the main things why I got this device is because it's colored, as you can see from here on my wallpaper. And I don't know, there's something about looking at this just makes it so nice and vibrant and very welcoming to read more books. So I've been seeing this device online on YouTube, on Instagram, and it really pushes me to really upgrade from my old Kobo Nia. I do have this. This is my old Kobo, and I've been using this for many years. I've read so many books on this device, but in the long run, I do want to experience something different, maybe more colored, and that is why I ended up getting this one. I don't know, I really like that. This is just pure black and white, and this is colored. It is just more inviting looking at the books and reading books compared to this one. Besides from that, this thing is light and portable, and when you hold it, oh my god, it's so much better because there's this whole chunk that you can easily hold when you're reading the book, and when you turn it to your other hand, look at that, it's the same thing. It will just auto rotate whichever orientation you're holding it or whichever hand you're holding it. So that is definitely one of the things that I like about this device, and there are more things about this device, and we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. This device is really perfect for illustration, graphics, comics, like so. For example, this, I think the color is really vibrant. I mean, a lot of comments about this device is that the color is muted and not that vibrant. But personally, upgrading from my old Kobo Nia, I think this is really good already. So if you're into like comic books, graphic illustration books, then I think this is gonna be a good choice for you to have one. And besides from that, knowing that this is a e-ink device with a very fragile screen, let's not forget to have a casing that has a cover like so, and this is also magnetic, so it will just go to sleep. And yeah, the reason why I got this is mainly because, like I've mentioned before, is that I want to upgrade from my old Kobo Nia. I've had this for several years, and this is like my main e-ink device. I've only have one. Previously, I sold out my old Kindle e-reader as well, but living in Singapore, they don't have that much support, so I've switched to Kobo after finding out that they have access to Libby or Overdrive. And as we all know, Overdrive is where I can borrow books for free, and I don't have to purchase it from elsewhere. I can just have it here on my device and just browse through the library locally. So that is one of the key points why I changed from Kindle to Kobo. And moving on from this version of the Kobo, I think having an upgrade to this colored device is a really good choice. I really love reading this, and having to read it in a colored manner, yeah, I think this is one of the best feature I have for this one. I know I have a lot of e-ink devices. This is not all of my e-ink devices. I still have my, this is big. I still have my 10.3 Boox Go. Besides from all of these e-readers, that's a lot of e-readers right there. So as much as possible, I try to be intentional in different ways of using different devices for different situations, which I can talk about this in my next video, how I use each individual device. So I will not put it to waste. But in the meantime, today, I'm just focusing on this one device right here and how I use it along with my other e-ink devices. So normally when I go to work, run some errands, or going out with my friends, if I'm traveling in public transportation, I would be using my e-ink device, and I'll be reading whatever book I have in here just to make sure that the books that I'm reading here will also be in this device. So I would be reading this, and when I get home and I want to read before I sleep, I would then move over to my Kobo, which has a bigger screen, and read from there. But the problem is that I'm aware that there is no syncing across different devices, especially not with this Xteink. So that is kind of one of the disadvantages of having these two together compared to using a Boox Palma 2, where there is a access here and here for overdrive. Since I'm using my Xteink, I have to find ways to make these two work, and that is making sure that the book is available for both devices. Focusing on the pros of this Kobo Libra Color, I do love the color, despite the fact that the color can be a little bit muted compared to other devices. I still think this is a pretty good deal. It is still look vibrant and very welcoming and inviting to read more books, especially when you're like browsing through the library, and I just want to experience that color feature. Besides from that, there is also a dark mode on this device, which I've not really used that much just yet, because I'm not much of a dark mode reader. But there is the feature right here from the settings, and there you go. You can definitely read this in the dark much easier. I think that is one of a great feature on this. Besides from that, I've recently learned that you can customize your wallpaper as well. If you want tutorial on that, let me know in the comments below, and I can do like a step-by-step again on how to do this kind of wallpaper. I think it's really cool because I didn't know you can do this. And another thing is that compared to my old Kobo Nia, there is no button to press when you want to, if you want to go to the next page. So you have to swipe it. But with this one, besides from swiping the screen, you also have a tactile button, which is quite nice. It's not that like clicky. It's like a silent clickiness. It's not that disrupting at all. So it's great to have both options in this device. And like I've mentioned before, if you're reading on the bed and you want to lean on the right, you can hold it like this. And if you want to lean on the left, you can hold it like this. There'll be an auto rotation of the screen. So either way, that is really helpful because there's this chunk right here that you can hold firmly with your hand. Unlike in this device, it's rather small, so when you hold it, it's a little bit unstable compared to this firm grip right here. So I kind of like this kind of format or feature in this. And one more thing, if you don't want to borrow books from Overdrive or buy books from Kobo store, and you can definitely access your Google Drive from here, and you can save any books inside your Google Drive that are EPUB. Then yeah, you could just come here, read any books that you have in your Google Drive, and you can definitely save that in your books library and read them. And here is the big feature about this device, besides from being colored and looking really pristine and clean is the Notes tab. In here, you can definitely write on the screen. Unfortunately, I don't have any stylus anymore. Previously, I was using my Microsoft Surface stylus on this device because it works. And so I do have like some notes in here on my reading habits. So you can do some kind of calendar thing. You can write notes right here, and you can definitely do some annotations on any of your books. So that is something, if you're interested in doing some annotation on your books, this is a great one to have. Definitely you should buy this if you want this kind of features. So that is one of the key things that kind of make me want to buy this as well, because I want to try writing on this, making some annotations and stuff. Now we're down to the cons. What are the disadvantages? Disadvantage is the notes. Yes, it is a great feature, but I kind of noticed that I don't really like writing here. I don't like taking notes on here because the ergonomics is not that good. It's not comfortable. I mean, if you try and just write, sure, you can do it, but I just don't feel comfortable enough to write for a long period of time. Okay, this thing doesn't work here. I don't think so. But let's just pretend that writing, it's not comfortable, especially with the dip on the screen and the casing. It's not that comfortable compared to writing on the Boox 10.3, where the screen itself and the casing is in a flat surface altogether. So the writing is much nicer compared to writing in here. So I kind of stopped using this for note taking or making annotations at all. That is just my personal hot take on this. And also talking about writing, the stylus for this Kobo, oh my goodness, it's so expensive. In Singapore, they're selling about $80, $70 to $80 just for the stylus. It is just ridiculously expensive, but there are also alternative third-party styluses that you can buy online. But personally, I just cannot justify enough to get one and start writing in here, because I kind of figure out that I'm really not into writing on this device at all. I still have my other devices to write on, which I kind of prefer than this one. There's a dip on the screen and the case. If you just leave it in your room or some area in your house without the casing and the cover on top, this whole screen, this is a dust pool collector. It will just pull dust and dust on top of each other, so much so that you need to keep on wiping it out every time you want to use it. So that is just kind of nitpicking, you could say, but that is just one thing that I kind of noticed. And another thing that I want to talk about is the color that I chose for this Kobo device. At the beginning, before I decided to buy this, I think I always thought that white devices like this looks very clean. From the screen, it looks really clean. What do you call this? Like friction kind of texture, and it's grayish compared to the front, where it's more white and kind of pearly white. Kind of there's a shimmer in it, if you could see. But I kind of noticed that when I read, this thing is quite distracting. It isn't as seamless as any other devices that I've had. Initially, I do have the black. The black borders doesn't really bother me as much as the white border. That is kind of one thing that I've noticed when I was reading it. The reflection on this white, pearly white border just kind of distract me from the screen. So I've nearly thought that I made a wrong choice of picking the white one instead of the black one. But yeah, that is just something that I have to deal with. And yeah, it's just nitpicking from this point on, but that's just something that I kind of noticed. So the overall experience with this device is, I would say, pretty good. I do love the color. I think among all of my e-readers, this is the only device that I have colored. I do have my previous Boox Tab C before, but I've let that one go already. Coming from the old Kobo Nia, this is a great upgrade for me. Besides from the notes feature right here, I think colored feature is a really good one to have compared to any other things that this device can do. Yeah, if I want to get back to writing on this device, I have that option as well. But at this moment, I am not really keen in writing on this device because it's just not that comfortable. And yeah, that is just my basic experience on this device. So what do you think about this Kobo Libra Color? Do you have one, and how do you usually use it? Do you even use the notes? And if you do, let me know what kind of ways do you use your notes for. If you want a more detailed breakdown of my experience on this Kobo, there is a Substack link in my description. You could have a read and let me know what you think. In the meantime, I'll catch you on our next episode. Bye!